This is a .38 special Winchester round. This is the type of bullet you would use if you wanted to hunt a deer or something similar in that regard, but what if you wanted to hunt something bigger? Inside here, we have a 30mm round used on an A-10. This is the kind of bullet you would use if you wanted to hunt a tank. This is what we're going to be unboxing in today's video. As well as that, we also have a Herpa 1-200 A-10. What would an unboxing on this channel be without some model of some sort? So we also have this, but we are going to start, of course, with the main attraction of this video. We have the 30mm A-10 round. So we can go ahead now and open this. I've had this for about a week and I've resisted the urge to open it, so I haven't actually opened this yet. But there's a first time for everything, so here we go. Got the top on there, and inside here we have the 30mm round. A little bit different to the Winchester round right here. You can see the definite size difference. For those of you in the know, you're probably going to start questioning this color. This is kind of a black and silver combination. The live rounds on the A-10 are typically this color, kind of the gold and bronze combination. The reason why this is this specific color is because this is a dummy round. The reason why I have a dummy round and not a live round is the live rounds for armor piercing have a depleted uranium core. If you know anything about uranium, you will know that it's not the best for the human body. It can cause liver cancer, lung cancer, bone cancer, and kidney damage, so it's probably not the best idea to have a live A-10 round with you. So this is a dummy round. This is what the A-10s would use in kind of target practicing. These would be used on A-10s. This isn't like a fake round. I mean, it's still dangerous when it's fired. It's just, it doesn't have those kind of armor piercing kind of benefits that a live A-10 round would have. The shell on this is quite light as well. I guess that's because there's nothing really inside here. There is no core to this bullet. All the weight of this is in this. This is the projectile of the bullet up here. But this is pretty amazing just to have. The gun that fires this is the GAU-8A cannon. It's more commonly known as its nickname, the Avenger, and it's one of the most powerful guns fitted to any aircraft in existence. The Avenger was developed in 1970 and it's huge. You typically only see the tip of the nose sticking out the front, but the actual Avenger stretches as far back as the wings on the aircraft. It's a huge gun, and with that size comes a lot of firepower. The fire rate can be adjusted, but it can fire anywhere between 50 and 70 rounds a second. I want to let that sink in for a second. That's 70 of these, 70 every single second. When firing, the Avenger produces 45 kilonewtons of force. To put that in perspective, one of the A-10's General Electric TF-34 engines only produces 40 kilonewtons of force. That means that if you had an A-10 on the ground and started to accelerate one of the engines to full throttle and then started firing the Avenger, the A-10 would start accelerating backwards. Typically, the force of the Avenger isn't usually a problem because, I mean, the A-10 has two engines equating to 80 kilonewtons of force, and as well, the gun is only usually fired about 1 to 2 seconds at a time. So it's rarely a problem when it's in flight, but the Avenger and what it does, it's just an insane feat of engineering. To think that 70 of these pass through that gun every second, it's just incredible. Smaller versions of the Avenger have been built. I believe there's a 25mm version of the Avenger that was installed on the Harriers in the US Marine Corps. And as well, I know the Avenger under some different names is used on naval ships and as well at air bases as defense and everything like that. So it's an absolutely insane weapon, and the A-10 to go along with that, it's just incredible. And speaking of the A-10, I think we're going to move on to the 1-200 model now. I'm going to go into the classic model unboxing mode now, where I'm just going to have the table and the model. So yeah, let's go ahead now and unbox this model. Alright, so here we have the box. I've already pre-cut the box open, so we can just go ahead now and open the cardboard box to reveal the Herpa 1-200 A-10. I picked this one in particular. This is the Michigan-based A-10. The reason why I picked this one is just because of the color scheme. You can see it through the box there. Those lines in the green color, it just looks really, really cool. Of course, not all A-10s look like this. 716 A-10s were built. Some of those are now sadly retired, but the ones that remain in service, they're split up into loads of different squadrons. They're based all over the US, and so they all have their different color schemes. But I just preferred this one because it wasn't that kind of typical gray color scheme. It's a little bit just more exciting and everything like that. So I went for this one over a regular gray A-10. But inside here, of course, we have the regular kind of plastic protection, and then we have the A-10 inside here. Just as a bit of to scale comparison, here we have the F-35. You can see the kind of the size difference between these aircraft, and we also have, you know, civilian aircraft. We have the British Airways A320neo. Of course, passenger aircraft are just the king when it comes to size. But then again, the A320neo, it doesn't have a 30mm autocannon on the front, so I think the A-10 wins when it comes to armament. The A-10 is such a unique looking aircraft. Everything was designed for specific reasons in mind. And as we go through this model, I will go through some of those details with you. Starting off at the front of the aircraft here, we have the nose of the Avenger there. Now the Avenger, this is what I was talking about. You can only really see the nose of the gun, but the gun inside the aircraft stretches all the way back here to the start of the wings. It's a huge gun on the inside, but it's concealed with the within the fuselage of the A-10. Next up, we have the cockpit of the aircraft here. Now the cockpit is protected by a titanium tub that goes underneath the cockpit here. The reason for that titanium armor is because of the role the A-10 plays. Aircraft like the F-35 that you can see behind there, they fly high and fast and drop missiles and bombs on targets from, you know, far, far away. The A-10, however, flies low and slow, taking out ground targets very close to the ground. That's why the A-10 is one of the most attacked aircraft in the US military. So it's built like a tank. They have that titanium armor under the cockpit to protect the pilot, but everything else on board the aircraft can be shot at. It has two hydraulic systems, meaning that if one fails, the second one can operate on its own. If we take a look at the front of the aircraft, you can see what I was talking about with the nose gear. You can see that that's offset to the side. That's because the Avenger is set on the exact center line of the aircraft, meaning that the recoil doesn't throw the aircraft off when it's firing. Taking a look at the underside of the wings again, you can see all the hard points on the wings there. These are kind of the points where missiles and bombs would be attached to. There are 11 on this aircraft, and on this particular model there are no kind of missiles or bombs attached. It does look like you could maybe buy some and add them on here, because it would be really cool to have a model kind of fully loaded with bombs and missiles, but this one is just an empty kind of wing pylon section here. And then at the rear of the aircraft we have these engines. These are placed in this exact position for a particular reason. So first off, the A-10 sometimes takes off from dirt runways, and the reason why the engines are this high up is because then the wings block any kind of debris, dust or dirt from going into the engines there. And then the tail here is designed like this for a couple reasons. Firstly, this design of tail is used on a number of different aircraft, for example the Antonov 225, and that's for stability. Of course, when you're firing weapons and guns, you want the aircraft to be stable, and so that's one of the reasons. But the other reason is as well, the exhaust of the engines, the kind of the heat signature of the engines is blocked by those vertical stabilizers, meaning that heat-seeking missiles, while they can still lock on, it's a lot harder for heat-seeking missiles to kind of lock on to this aircraft when the heat is being kind of blocked by the tailpiece here. And speaking of missiles, the aircraft is the most equipped in the US military with chaff and flare. It carries the most out of any aircraft in the US military. The need for the A-10 or an aircraft like it arose in the 1950s and 60s when the US suspected that fighting may begin in Germany as a result of Western Berlin and the Soviet interest in potentially taking Western Berlin from the Allies. Luckily, a major war was spared from the area, but the US had already started to develop this aircraft. It was built by the now deceased Fairchild Republic, which was based out of San Antonio in Texas. The A-10 was designed by Pierre Spray, I believe that's how you say his name. He was born in France, but then immigrated to America, and funnily enough, he's now a large critic towards the F-35, which is slated to be the replacement for the A-10. And I do want to touch on retirement. It's sadly a topic that is edging closer towards the A-10. This has kind of been a suspect of retirement for a very long time. 2030 was originally thought to be the retirement date of the A-10, but now that's been extended to potentially even 2040. So still another 20 years of use for this aircraft in the future. It's a very divided topic, whether the A-10 is needed. Some people say it's not needed now, some people say it's still needed. It is a very cheap aircraft to operate. In fact, it's one of the cheapest in the US Air Force. But it's an interesting topic to talk about. Let me know in the comments whether you think this aircraft is needed now, isn't needed now. There's talk about an updated version of the A-10 being produced, but no one really knows for certain. But apart from that, that does conclude my A-10 unboxing and my 30mm round unboxing as well. I hope you did enjoy, and apart from that, I want to thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.